Hey. So I'm in my pajamas and a robe because it is like I was getting ready to go to bed. And I remembered that I got this today, delivered from Amazon. So there was a deal that popped up. Someone shared, I think, in one of the garden groups that I was in, where this was on sale for like 60% off, I think. I can't remember exactly what the deal was, but I got it for dirt cheap. I didn't need to buy these because I do already have some seed starting material, but I figured this is something that's fairly inexpensive. I got it off of Amazon. It came in one day, and maybe, just maybe, some people are looking for something that is all-inclusive and easy to use. So I figured I'd try it out and maybe do a video on it. So it came, I believe it's 9. Yes, it's 9 of them. And it came with the propagation tray. So this is where you would put the water. The cells, so this is 12 cells that will go inside, put this over here, inside the propagation tray like so. They have holes at the bottom of them where the water will be able to get absorbed by for the plants. And then they come with these domes for humidity. Now these also came with it, and I am assuming that this is used so that you can open or close the dome to manage the humidity. It also came with some markers. 6, 7, 8. I'm assuming they're supposed to be 9, so I must have dropped one somewhere. Because it wouldn't make sense to give you 9 trays. Oh, yep, there's a 9th one. Came with 9, so I guess that's 1 per tray. And then they came with, I believe this might be a divot to poke a hole where you would put the seeds. I guess this is a little scoop or shovel. I'm not exactly sure. Like, this looks like it might be some type of a shovel as well. I'm probably not going to use this myself, but it might be a useful tool for someone who maybe finds out what they're for. I opened up the box and left it in the living room, and who knows, like, my kids, this stuff was neater than it was inside there, and it got played with. But what I thought about doing, because I do have a green stalk planter that I have some lettuce in. And what's crazy is it's the lettuce that's been in there since the fall. The seeds that I planted back in the fall, that I guess it never, I don't know if it never germinated or if because I did have some lettuce that I, ate. And maybe these seeds were like dormant under the lettuce that was already in there. I'm not exactly sure, but I do want to start some lettuce seeds. Lettuce does not do very well once it gets really, really hot, but they germinate quick, and I could have some quick salad lettuce, before it gets really hot. I can even possibly take it to the farmer's market because I know one year I started way too many seeds, and I couldn't eat it all before they went bad, so I had to start giving some away. I did those lettuce bouquets, and I don't know if I have any pictures of them that I might be able to share, like on my Instagram, or they may already be on my Instagram. But yeah, so I wanted to get some lettuce seeds just because I want to fill up that planter because there's so many bare spaces. And then I thought about even doing, like, I got this Casper kale. I don't quite know. This wasn't part of the original garden plan. But because I got these, I thought I would at least just try to do something. Maybe I'll start some flowers in it. for the garden. I'm not sure. I got some herbs here too. I don't know. But I also ordered on Amazon some cow pots. And I'm not going to use the cow pots now. I am going to use those to start some cucumber, zucchini, and squash plants, because those you don't want to mess with the roots. They do not like their roots being disturbed. And so I wouldn't start them in plugs like this, because that would be too much disturbing the roots to up pot and then to transplant. So I'm going to show you what they look like. So, and the label is also off of these too. But these are called cow pots. They are very similar to me, just from the look and feel, to peat pots. But they are made out of composted cow manure. So, I was getting some work done on the shed that I bought to turn into a studio. And I had to go to an electrical supply store to get some material for the electrician to use. And we were talking, the guy who ran the supply store, about gardening. And he told me about these. And so I decided to order some to see how they work. He said that he planted, or he started some seeds in them. And he hasn't had to fertilize or anything, because these they actually add nutrients because it is made out of cow manure. So I'm going to attempt to start my cucumbers, squash, and zucchini in these, but I'm going to wait to start those seeds probably April, maybe mid-April, because I'm not going to be ready to plant them out like anytime soon. So I don't want to have too many. I don't have a lot of space for a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to do the lettuce right now, and maybe even some kale, only because these things, I can start them now, let them germinate inside, because they need some heat to germinate inside. And I will be able to keep them in these little cells. I don't have to up pot them until they get their true leaves, and then I'll be able to transplant them out like almost immediately, because they can be in the cool temperatures. I just need something to, I would, if it was warm enough outside, I would probably direct sow the lettuce in the green stock, but I don't think it's going to be warm enough. It's been very cold. I don't think it'll be warm enough to germinate. So I just really want to get them germinated. So what better way than to use these and see how it works. So I already got one over here. And let me get some lettuce seeds. I did say that I was supposed to start my pepper seeds this week too, and I'm still planning on doing that this week, but not tonight. I want to give myself just a little bit. I want to get, right now when I look at the 10-day forecast, every night is like freezing for the next 10 days. And there might be one night that I saw it was like the low was 50, but then every other night it's like freezing. So I want to get maybe some daytime temperatures, if nothing else, of at least 70 or above before I start my pepper plants. Not because like that's what you're supposed to do, but because of my limited space. If my shed was finished and electricity was hooked up and I could hook up my other shelving system for more lights and shelves, of course, then I would start my pepper seeds now. But because, like I said in another video, I don't have the space in my house, and I know that I'm starting a significant amount of pepper seeds, just like I did with the tomatoes. I don't know. I want to be able to take the tomato plants outside during the day and let them get some actual sun. And then I can use the lights for the pepper plants. But I can't do that with the temperatures being the way that they are. So that is my long spiel on why I'm not doing the peppers right this second. So this is where the water's gonna go, and I did not come to the table with water, so I'll have to fill that up later. So what I'm gonna do is the same thing I did when I started the tomato. I still have, this is so crazy. I didn't think I was gonna have this much left, but I still have some seed starting mix left. So we're gonna dump them just like I did with the tomatoes. Flatten them out. I'm probably gonna, because lettuce seeds are so teeny tiny. Lettuce seeds, seeds for like green, like collards, kale, mustards, like all those seeds are extremely small. So I am definitely going to, hold up, I got too much here. I am definitely going to moisten the soil or the seed starting mix before I put the seeds in there, because I'm not going to want to water from the top with those little teeny sites. They will move around. So even though I'm going to put water at the bottom, just because I don't know if it's going to soak it up fast enough for me, I'm going to go ahead and wet this soil now. And then I'll put the seeds in there. All right, so I wet the soil. It's also like some water, because I wet it so much. Some water actually already got down in the bottom. But I'm going to fill that up a little bit more. But let's go ahead and start these. So I pulled out a mixture of seeds. I have 9 trays. And so in each tray, I'm going to start a mixture. So here's something that I did, because this would not close. Again, I was saying how this particular brand doesn't close all the way sometimes. I put them in this, and then I just kind of stuck it in here so I can at least still see what that is. So that is a mixture, Cosmic Crimson Mix. It'll be a tray of that. I got these from probably Walmart. Because lettuce seeds are very hard to sow, I thought I would try these. They're supposed to make it easier. It's called So Easy. And it has like a coating on them, which allows for the seeds to be a little bit bigger so you can see what you're sowing. So it'll be a tray of that. I like that lettuce for sandwiches. I got some freckled romaine. And here's these both are like mixtures for salads. So this is a salad bowl. I never know how to pronounce this, and I'm not even gonna embarrass myself, but this is a salad green mix. So those are all gonna get their own trays. And then you have some marbles of 4 seasons here. So I'm gonna do this now, and I'm gonna show you how small these lettuce seeds are, but they are teeny tiny, like very small. It's almost impossible for me to get like 1 or 2 per cell. So I try to grab and it's probably going to end up being more like 3 in each cell. But I just kind of drop it on top, because these are way too small to try to bury them. I don't even know how many I put in there. I can't even really see where they're dropping. I have not mastered this yet, being able to sow lettuce seeds precisely. So I usually end up either thinning a whole lot or letting it like grow until they get to a size where I could just pull up one of the plants and eat it. All right, so on some of these I might have 3 seeds in it. Some of them might have 4 or 5 just because I didn't see something drop, and so I put some more in there. But I'm just going to let that be on top. I am not going to push those in or anything. I'm literally going to let it sit on top. And then what I'm going to do, well, I'll show you what I'm going to do afterwards. But it's not going to be anything where I'm going to cover it with soil. I'm going to just take a little bit of water. I had a dropper to make it a little bit easier, but I'm going to just take a cup, put some water in it, and slowly pour some on top. That's going to shovel the seeds, displace the seeds just enough for it to kind of poke down a little bit into the soil, but not cover with soil. That's about as best as I could do. All right, so I have these little teeny tiny seeds, and I'm going to do these 6 cells right here. I can't tell how many are dropping. I want to say that's 3 because I see 3, but I can't tell. Oop, that's 2 that dropped. I can actually see this one a little better than the other one, but still not very good. And I'm just going to stick it right here. Now, because this came with this, I'm going to assume that the dome actually fits, and it does. It fits over it. So I want it to germinate. I'm going to leave the humidity in here. I'm going to close this and let that humidity stay in there as it warms up and germinates. Oh, I forgot to put the water on it. I'm moving too far ahead of myself. So I got a little cup, and I'm just going to pour just enough to kind of move. Ooh, that almost went too far. I don't want to fill it up to the point where it overflows into the next cell, because then the seeds can accidentally go into the next cell, and then we got them mixed up. I also don't want to run this under a faucet or even a hose, because I don't want to put too much water pressure on it. And then I'm going to put this dome on, and it fits perfectly. So I don't need to put any more water at the bottom because there's water already at the bottom. In fact, if I tip this a little bit, it's going to spill out, because it did when I turned the camera off a little while ago. So this is going to just sit. I have a heat pad on my tray, on my shelf, and I'll sit this on there because it's still kind of cool in my house and it's downstairs. But as you can, I don't even know if you can see that. The humidity is already fogging up, which is perfect. Perfect environment to germinate some seeds. Some people use the paper towel method for germinating lettuce seeds. So what they'll do is they'll put some seeds on a wet paper towel and stick it in a plastic bag. I tried that one year. I did not like it. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I'm just saying that it was not something that I liked doing. I so much prefer this way over doing it that way. But I have heard that some people have had success in that. So you can try it that way to germinate some lettuce seeds. I am not worried about the mess on the table. I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to just shovel this off. And then I'm going to go and wet this. And I'm going to do the next set. And then I'm going to put all of them on the tray. And hopefully they will germinate within the next week. Something I didn't share on the other seed packages when I was starting my tomatoes. On the back of these seed packages, it gives you a lot of information. A lot. You can read up on just some nice, interesting details about each seed. It talks about the starting them indoors 2 to 3 weeks before last frost, or direct sowing. It tells you each way after the last frost date. It talks about spacing when you sow the seeds. Germination days, 2 to 12 days. So That's why I said within the next week, maybe it'll germinate. And I guess it varies based on the conditions. Again, like this is perfect. We are already seeing the fogginess of the dome, the humidity. It's warm. I'm going to put it on a heating mat. That might speed up germination. Days to maturity, 60 days. So you're talking, what, 2 months? And you'll be able to start harvesting them. So each packet, depending on what you're growing, is going to have something different. And it doesn't even matter which kind of brand. Like this is a totally different brand of beets, and it still has a bunch of information. It talks about the days for seed depth. This one actually tells you want to make sure that you only planted a 1/2 inch. This one does not say. Nope. This one tells you can plant it in container. It says it could be full sun or partial sun, and it's cold tolerant. So lettuce is cold tolerant. This talks about pretty much the same. This talks about thinning, because when you sow these, you direct sow these, you may have to thin them. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up. I'm going to get the soil in these trays and start sowing the rest of them, or starting the rest of the lettuce and the greens. And we will check back on these in about a week or two and see how they're doing. And if I can, those girls are supposed to be sleeping. If I can go ahead and transplant them outside. I want to transplant them before they get, like their true leaves get really big, because again, I'm working with not wanting or needing, having the time really, or space to harden off too many plants. So the trick is, if they grow in the environment of the full sun and the wind and stuff, they are adaptable to those things without you having to harden them off. If you start stuff inside, either it's inside a house, whether it's inside the house or inside a greenhouse, if you are not exposing it to that direct sunlight or the wind as it is, they're starting, then when you go to transplant them, you will need to allow some time for it to adapt to the environment, the new environment, or you could possibly lose your plants. My goal was to have my lettuce grow outside in that environment, so the leaves will grow in that way, and I don't have to worry about hardening them off. My only issue is, because we had such cold weather, and we have such cold weather for such a long time, I can't start them outside like I had originally planned, because I'm afraid they're not going to germinate at all, or they're going to take longer to germinate. They will germinate. They'll just take longer to germinate, and I want to get a head start on this, because once it gets hot, my lettuce is going to bolt. These aren't heat tolerant. They're cold tolerant, but they're not heat tolerant. So I want to make sure that I get a head start so I can get the fullness of my harvest. So we'll check back in a couple of weeks and see how they're doing, and possibly start to transplant them into the green stalks. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me again in my robe and pajamas before I go to bed. Thank you for supporting my channel. And I guess I'm going to try to turn the camera on even when I think they don't really care about this, just so that you can see, because some people might. I ran into someone a couple days ago, and he said, "Hey, Royal Roots." He said, "Yeah, I've been watching all your videos," and I thought that was amazing, because sometimes I think that these videos are boring, especially when I'm doing a lot of talking and nobody wants to see them. And I guess it surprises me, which it shouldn't surprise me, because I follow people on YouTube and I will watch the videos where they're just sitting there talking too. And I'm interested. I'm fully into whatever it is that they're saying. And so why wouldn't other people be interested in what I'm saying? but it still shocks me because I didn't know that they were interested or that you all were interested. So I'll keep on posting even those things that I am not even sure you're gonna watch. Because what would it hurt, right? And we will go through this journey together. So thanks again, and until next time, be blessed.